Hey everybody. All right, so something I forgot to mention in part 7 was that with Simon, if you look at the timeline with Simon in Acts chapter 8. Now, I recommend you watch part 7 first, because I'm just continuing where I left off with Acts, or with part 7. So, so we look at the timeline. So the gospel went to the Jews first. So you had the crucifixion and then Pentecost, and then the gospel went to the Jews first. And then Acts chapter 10 went to the Gentiles. During the time the gospel went to Jews first, it included proselytes as well, which were Gentiles who adopted Jewish culture. So in God's eyes, they were Jews, okay? And they were sort of a foreshadow of the Gentiles that came in later on in the New Covenant. Okay, and the day this occurred, which by the way is September 17th of AD 33, that was the day that this occurred, where the Cornelius household came to the gospel. So that was the day where the promise to Abraham that he'd be a father to many nations, that's when it all began. So that was a huge, significant day. But anyway, Simon, Acts 8, it occurred here, okay? So I mean, this is chronological, and I think most people believe that Acts, the book of Acts, is chronological order. So that would have meant he would have been part of the Jewish people, Acts chapter 8. The fact that it occurred here before Acts 10. So that would suggest Simon was a Jew. So having said that, if you go back to here, to Acts chapter 8, pop-ups. So remember, I pointed out in part 7, Peter told Simon, "May your silver perish with you, because you thought you could obtain the gift of God with money. You had neither part nor lot in this matter, for your heart not right for God. Repent therefore of this wickedness of yours, and pray to the Lord that, if possible, the end of your heart may be forgiven you." So basically, Peter told him to repent, and then Simon responded, "Pray for me to the Lord, that nothing what you said may come of me." So basically perishing with the silver, okay? So with Simon being a Jew, he had the option to repent, let go of his silver. He also could have gone to the temple, him being a Jew, knowing go to the temple, the high priest, and get sin forgiven. But that was obsolete at that point anyway. But if he was still in the old covenant mindset, he would have gone there, okay? So having said that, like I said in part 7, in the mind of Simon, it makes no sense to run off to Rome. There's absolutely no value to this whatsoever. And this is one of the reasons why I think Eusebius is fabricating this story. He's trying to centralize the theocracy from Jerusalem to Rome. So if we go back to hear what he wrote in Ecclesiastical History, Book 2, Chapter 14, where he basically pointed out that Simon went to Rome, and then Peter followed him, okay? Now, something to keep in mind, papyrus back then was very expensive, a rare, valuable commodity. So the chances of somebody following Simon who's willing to pay big bucks for papyrus, it's highly unlikely. And so the only thing that Eusebius could have obtained was Acts chapter 8. He would have read Acts chapter 8, and then he would have fabricated his story. Also keep in mind, this took place in the year 33, or around there, or earlier. According to Eusebius, this Simon took off to Rome is at the very beginning of Claudius' reign. So yeah, immediately under the reign of Claudius, immediately, suggested in year 41, okay? Well, that's 8 years later. So that's a good 7 years where Simon could have gone to a temple to get his sin forgiven, okay? So why all of a sudden 8 years later, I'm going to go off to Rome? In the Jewish mind, there's nothing there, okay? So I hope you see that. That's the point I'm trying to make with this, that's missing in part 7. It's obvious to me that Eusebius fabricated this, and it's all part of trying to not only centralize power around Rome, but define the orthodox view of the relationship between church and state for Constantine. And they were working together, Constantine and Eusebius, to merge the powers together. And they pulled it off. Billions of people have been fooled. So if you watch my videos, how easy it would have been to rewrite history in the 4th century, I think you can begin to see where I'm coming from. If a person tries that today, it'd be impossible. I mean, it'd be totally impossible with the printing presses that we have, the thousands of copies of all these books, and the internet. You just couldn't do it. Okay, but the 4th century, it was very possible, especially when you help of the state, and you're involved, and you're the bishop in the church. Basically, the two powers combined to do this. And so, anyway, that's all I wanted to point out. It's just so unlikely that the story here that Eusebius claims. And keep in mind, Eusebius was not there. Okay, he was 4th century, and this is all fabricated. So I'd say there's 0%, absolutely 0% just happening. When you combine the fact that he's a Jew, you look at the timeline, when you understand the center of theocracy at the time, and accuracy of what value would have been the assignment to run off to Rome, there's like zero value, and the temple wasn't even there. There were no high priest there to forgive them. So the Holy of Holies wasn't there in the Jewish mind. Of course, Christ took over the Holy of Holies, but it does not fit the Bible at all. So anyway, just something to consider. So thank you for watching, and hope you continue to enjoy your studies.